Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the EU Minor Close Qualifier as we swapped around the casting duo once again, and we're going to get ready to see who will qualify for the minor as well. Two teams still make a very good shot, and first we'll see Heroic versus ENCE. Haka, how hyped are you right now?
I'm actually pretty excited for this one. I think that ENCE, after struggling on the first day, have kind of started to rebound. They're a team that really should be making it through to the minor, so I'm pumped to see if they can make it through in this all-important best of three.
Yeah, and to see what has happened today, we'll actually take a look at the lower bracket because that's where we're at right now. And I think there are some interesting games that have already taken place. And ENCE, you said it, they have a very good shot to get to the minor. They should be there. But well, first they have to beat Heroic, a team they have beaten before. But at the same time, we're casting right now Space Soldiers, or actually the X team of them, will take on XCOM, who have beaten Virtus Pro, who since then have ceased their Counter-Strike operations for now.
Yeah, and that shows just how important this qualifier is for these teams. Virtus Pro don't make it through, and because of that, they get dropped by their organization. A really important tournament for these teams. And obviously, teams like XCOM maybe don't need to make it through, but just showing that they can compete here is already a good sign. And talking about Heroic and ENCE, I think both of these teams coming into this would have set their eyes on making sure they could make it to the minor. So the fact that one of them won't make it through is already a story in and of itself.
Yeah, but later on tonight we'll have some more interesting games. We will call Vitality versus Team Kingwin, and later on, of course, it's also Alliance versus Fraxters, but that will be off stream for us. But don't you worry, you also have a secondary stream where you can watch all that action. So we'll take you just for the good match, at least. We're very hyped for that one. Like, Vitality is a very good team. They have performed pretty well, but they came short to Mousesports. And can they make it to the minor? What would you say?
Yeah, I think they should still be able to make it through down there in the lower bracket. I mean, any team that goes up against Mousesports is kind of a bit unlucky just because Mousesports are so good compared to the rest of the field, but Vitality really did prove themselves. They played Mousesports close, so I think Vitality should be making it through from that lower bracket. But I guess we should go back to talking about this series, because we just saw ENCE play recently there. Again, Sergey has been the real standout player for this team.
Yeah, he's just a fragger that always knows what to do. And whatever their opponents throw at him, Sergey is the man to shine. Alu with his AWP was pretty alright later on as well. But sometimes he's a bit shaky, so they really need to build on Sergey. And they really need the rest of the team to step up as well, because they need to get to that minor. ENCE is a team you would expect to see at a major as well. But first, there are a few hurdles they have to take. Let's talk about the maps. The first one will be Mirage, picked by Heroic, followed by Overpass by ENCE, and as possible decider will have Train. And we had a little bit of a brainstorm earlier on to see what maps will be, and we figured these maps for ENCE are pretty alright.
Yeah, I think the awkward thing for Heroic is there's not really an obvious map pick where they can say, hey, we can pick this and we're favorites. I think that whichever map they chose, ENCE were going to be pretty good on as well. And both these teams actually have the exact same win percentage on Mirage, which Heroic decided to pick. And also, interestingly, ENCE are on a 6-map win streak on Mirage against some pretty good teams, some weaker teams in there, but it just goes to show that ENCE will definitely be comfortable on this map.
Yeah, and one thing which is extra scary, if we go to the decider, which will be Train, that is a map these teams played on at the DreamHack Open Winter. And, well, most of you probably know that ENCE won that pretty convincingly, 16-7 on Train and 16-9 on Nuke, so that doesn't really bode well for him. Overpass is in between, though, and the weird thing is, actually Heroic has a better win percentage on Overpass as well.
Yeah, kind of interesting there. Again, though, going back to that DreamHack Winter result, I think that that was kind of a tournament where we saw what ENCE really need to rely on, right? You've got Sergey up there at the top, but then the player that's been missing so far in this qualifier is actually Alu. He's not been the sort of standout player you would expect. He's down there with the rest of the pack. He's actually their 4th best rated player, so not exactly up there towards the top like you would expect. And if Alu can up his game just a little bit, then I really think ENCE will definitely be pushed over the edge. You know, even without Alu showing up, ENCE can still win, which is really nice to say for a Finnish team, because in the past that would not have been the case. But if Alu also shows up alongside Sergey, that's when ENCE can really push forwards.
But would you then also say that ENCE could have a 2-0 on their hands right here, or will it be 2-1?
I think they could 2-0 this, definitely. I mean, again, Mirage, Overpass, and Train are all fine maps for ENCE. And that's the thing. Heroic haven't really proven themselves on most of these maps to be like incredible teams, right? That's the one thing that I was saying there about Heroic. They don't have one map that they're really incredible on, but here we go. We'll see if Heroic can prove themselves on Mirage. Heading into the pistol round, smoke's already being deployed in towards mid, and Heroic pushing forwards.
A beautiful A-split coming in, but actually Connector Smoke by themselves. They'll flash each other in, and Aerial will actually get the first frag. It is Heroic already having some trouble, but they can get something back, but now they get the bomb down as well. And ENCE needs to retake this side. Alexi does have a kit, but they need the frags first, as Aerial misses an opportunity.
X7 eventually breaks the vent. A 4-on-4 retake as he decides to move in towards mid, but the push also coming from CT. Alexi B instantly dealt with, but the trade is equally as quick.
But they forget the kit. Aerial could have picked it up, but Sergey has eventually Aerial now with another frag. Two players in jungle. One of them falls instantly. It's Estak in 1v1. Sergey is defusing. He will get the defuse. And it will be 1-0 for ENCE after this lovely ninja. But it was chaotic to say the least.
Wow, Aerial just kept on finding headshots there as he moved back towards the bomb site. He ended with a 4K and caused enough of a distraction to allow that defuse to come in. Again, a slightly awkward position for that bomb plant, and that meant the smoke allowed the ninja to come through. But something we've seen more and more often is the second round force buys. Even with the bomb plant, Heroic invest everything, and that gets them 2 AKs, or even 3 AKs.
Mid push coming in, but it won't work out for ENCE so far. 2 for 2 is a trade, but Asilian is very low and Nate would deal with him. But X7 is not in position to throw his. So things will slow down. Heroic should not be too happy because they had more AKs than they have now. And some of them are on mid. They have to recover. And ENCE is not really holding it off.
Yeah, going into a 3v3, ENCE have to leave some portion of the map weak. They decide to give up that mid presence. And because of that, they decide to take some aggression over towards B. Aerial gets a lot of information for his team, and as Heroic start to sneak up mid, the flank could be coming through from Aerial. It all depends on the timing here. Heroic are moving in towards B short, and I don't think Aerial is close enough. Heroic are going to sneak on towards B.
And he's too late, as you say, and Heroic will be sneaking in. Nobody on ENCE is looking that way, and they might think it will be an A-take. X7, though, is moving back with the UMP in hands, and Asilian is low. Maybe his go-to target, but Freiburg is holding the angle, will get the good tag. But now Aerial is in, the flank is right on time, Muddy will fall, the bomb is now dropped. As it will be planted. It is a 3-on-2. Asilian will take that bomb in his hands, will try to plant it, but X7 just runs in. It will be the second round for ENCE, but it is a costly one.
Yeah, they lose a couple of players, but at the same time, Heroic had a really strong buy, considering it was the second round. So losing 2 men isn't too bad for ENCE, because now they force Heroic down to a full eco. 1 P250 bought by Modi. Other than that, there is literally no investment for Heroic. So this is the opportunity for ENCE to make sure they build up some bank. 1 or 2 players have some money as Asilian decides to face alone in towards mid. I'm not really sure what he was expecting there. The first man to fall in this round.
Well, the rest of the team of Heroic will go towards the B side. 2 players standing by with M4s, and the first tag will come out. Alexi is shining through once again, and there's only 2 players left for Heroic. They have 1 P250 to work with, but that will be dealt with shortly. So it will be 3-0 for ENCE, but now Heroic can buy, and so they will have more utility than they could have had if they saved the first round.
Yeah, heading into round 4, it will be a strong buy for both sides. Again, Sergey, normally the standout player for ENCE, he literally has done nothing in this game. 0 kills, 0 assists, 0 deaths, and yet still ENCE have got off to the good start they were hoping for. Looks like ENCE want to fight for that mid control once again. A bit of a stack into that position. Freiburg's on the other side, and the flash will be deployed. But with that top mid smoke coming into play, Freiburg could be in trouble.
Alu is standing by in the smoke as Freiburg is moving closer and closer. Still on 0 kills as he will now find Alu, and that means there is an advantage for Heroic, but it will be all turned around. Heroic tries to go for the A side, but will lose a few players. And eventually Aztec will die as well after a scuffle with Alexi. It is Mertz with that AWP bomb in hands now, but only one flashbang. And he also lacks head armor, and that might actually not work out too well for him.
Mertz decides to reposition. Having over a minute left on the clock means he can do whatever he wants. And he will try and play with that time, pretending he's thinking about going back to B, but he will stick around towards A. Again, with 50 seconds, he doesn't have to commit to this, but he's hoping he can find one of the ENCE players alone towards A. And that's exactly what has happened. Aerial is sticking in towards CT, and as Mertz sneaks forwards, the question is, will he clear this position? And he should be aware of the spot towards CT. It's quite a likely position to play when you're solo holding the site. You don't really want to commit to the site itself, and that means that as Mertz gets the bomb down, he does go for the fake. Reaction shot is there! What a shot from Mertz! And it's into a 1v1.
X7 is moving in, has no utility whatsoever, doesn't have a defuse kit either, so really needs to get that kill. There is a kid on side, he's running around, Mertz misses his shot, and still it is a 1v1, but X7 just jumps on the box, doesn't need that kit, and will grab the op as well. 4th round now for ENCE, and Heroic is struggling once again.
Yeah, nice try from Mertz, who is statistically the best player for Heroic in the last 3 months and in this qualifier. It's him and ESL who take up a lot of the firepower and the fragging for Heroic. And that's quite an interesting thing to talk about, you know? ESL used to be much more of a supportive element on this team, but he's transitioned more and more into a sort of star player that can put up the numbers. So that's kind of cool to see, and Heroic still get to buy in this round thanks to the previous one being so close.
Also, the bomb plant will help as Aerial is again on mid, but Alexi will open the score. Unfortunately, they will lose a player as well in the process, making it a 4-on-4, but the bomb is still dropped at T-stairs. A little bit of a stalemate as there is still a bit of pressure at the mid area from both teams. But will it result in kills? Cillian almost dies to a nade, but Alexi can throw another one as well, and that almost takes down Mertz. It's ENCE that can smell out their opponents, it seems. It's actually weakening them up for the next fight.
A couple of players softened up on the Heroic side of things. Cillian and Mertz down to critical health. A single shot will take either of them out of the action. However, ENCE are playing this A site very passively. Sergey is holding from jungle, but he's not really in a position to watch the cross to the site, especially if there were smokes. But Heroic have used all their utility earlier into the round. Yes, they've still got a few flashbangs, but the smokes are really needed as you cross towards A, especially as Alu is in CT with that AWP. He could have an easy few frags.
Also, 2 Molotovs left for ENCE, one of which just used towards the ramp. And what he will try to fight is Alu just peeking out to him, but can't hit the shot, only a wallbang. Leaving Modi at 44 HP, and a push will come in from Heroic, but they will already lose a player. It is a 3-on-3. The bomb will maybe get planted as Alu is playing more passive. Alexi is coming in, Freiburg will solo peek without a reason. And so the rest of Heroic will slowly fall, and only Modi will survive. 0 frags so far, he can change things up as Alexi is low. He will get the spray down, but loses so many bullets that he can't get the frag onto X7. It will be the 5-0 for ENCE. Op will be saved. And yet another round, and this really spells trouble for Heroic, especially because it's their map pick.
Yeah, I thought Alu would have been able to do more there. He had a really powerful position, only gets 1 kill out of it, and yet still the rest of ENCE can get the job done. And I think the worry there for Heroic was the fact that they put so much presence towards mid, they used a lot of their utility towards that position, that when you go back towards A without those smokes, you've got loads of angles you have to be worried about. And unfortunately for Heroic, they couldn't clear all of those positions in that round. So into round 6, again they get a bye. No AWP in play for the T side, so Alu will have free reign in towards mid. Freiburg on the other side of things is looking to take some fights.
It is Mertz now still standing by with his mates, and they try to go towards A. It seems to be a brute force, but they lack a great amount of utilities. Freiburg is solo on the mid area, takes on Alexius jumping around. That just shows how little information they have. Bomb will be planted. It is a good tag onto Sergey, but he will survive for now, and there's still a fighting chance for ENCE as they're slowly moving in. 4 players left remaining for both sides as X7 takes on Freiburg.
Finally, the damage done by the ENCE side. The bomb was planted without any damage taken from Heroic, but now the kills are coming in. Look at the positions of Heroic. They are all over towards a ramp. The smoke is going to cause problems for them. ENCE moving into position, but the time is ticking away. They have to go now. X7 makes it a second, and S-Attack has to push forwards. There's the first frag. Defuse coming in, and S-Attack cannot find it. The round will be won by ENCE, as S-Attack does get another kill while fading away, but it doesn't really matter. ENCE are still getting the wins.
I'm confused. He didn't really commit on killing the diffuser as well. He had the bullets. He knew he otherwise would lose the round. And saving that AK, what is it worth? They still have such a huge loss bonus. Still have that bomb defuse money. And now it is 6-0 for ENCE already. Again, the AWP on Alu, and again, no AWP for Heroic. I think that might actually cost them because they don't really know how to fight those long angles. They go on those executes, but so far ENCE, their retakes are just way too strong.
And the interesting thing about that round was that the primary objective there for Heroic seemed to be just getting the bomb planted. They were very successful at getting that bomb down. As I said, they didn't take a single point of damage after getting that bomb planted. But the problem was they didn't have enough map control to get into good positions for the post plant. They were stuck in ramp, they were stuck in palace, and ENCE had loads of nades to use against them. But here we go, Alu with a good angle, nearly lines them up, and the damage is already being done.
It's X7 following things up, and there's only 2 players left remaining for Heroic, and they are doubting themselves. Will try to commit because they know there's no real other chance to fight. As Mertz will fall, only Aztec will survive, but not for long. It is 7-0 for ENCE Esports. And we just have to say again, you say Heroic, their utility, they throw it out, but it's not really covering everything, and you saw it here. Just an angle from the A side, holding off short, lineup coming in, Azilian also tagged through his mate. And it's something to stop a push coming in, especially such a good B split. Stop before it even began. It is now 7-0 for ENCE. There is a tactical pause being used, but is it too late to call it?
Yeah, maybe a little bit late. At least they are taking the pause now, though. Especially because into this round, they kind of have a decision to make, and I think they've made the correct call here. They need to make sure they get a full buy. One of the problems is that Mertz should be the star player for this team, but he has rarely got that AWP into his hands. He hasn't really been able to have too much impact because of these continuous force buys. So Mertz makes sure to save a bit of extra cash. They will get the AWP into the next round, and they'll try to do something with the pistols.
Good damage onto Alba. Ariel will actually get the first frags. We'll get 2 with a lovely transfer. And that means Heroic is again in trouble. They will try to execute towards the A side, but no molly will fly towards Sergey, and he knows what to do with it. Drops the bomb and drops a 3rd player as well. And another clean round for ENCE. And that is something they needed. Their economy was going lower, but eventually they can recuperate with this one.
I mean, it's snowing here in Katowice, but I think it's time that Heroic warmed up in this game. They need to get this round on the board. 8-0 behind, still yet to convert a round, and this is their best opportunity. They've got full nades, they've got Mertz onto the AWP, and generally, Mertz is their best player at finding those entry frags. He's got the highest percentage. He wins 60% of his opening exchanges, and it's Alu to take out the first man. Insta-trade from S-Attack, the aerial also there, and Sergey chimes in with one of his own. The mid control continues to go the way of the Finns.
And somehow, Alu again gets attacked from another player. And now X7 will also get a 1v1 Heroic. After they lose a few, they just try to do something on his lonesome. And it doesn't work. A 1v4 for Freiburg. He has the bomb, he has some utility, he could even pick up the AWP. But he doesn't know what to do with it. The big thing is that if he would get a bomb plant, it would be worth for him. And Heroic could buy again next round, but again, without the AWP for Mertz, I think it's just best to die. Maybe do an eco again, a pistol armor, and hope next round Mertz can do more with the AWP, as this round he was rather silent.
Yeah, those mid exchanges just not working for Heroic. Maybe it's time to take a slower approach at the start of the round. If ENCE are going to continue to stack in towards mid, it's not really worth taking those fights. And you would assume that ENCE would eventually go off of that position, right? You're not going to stick with 3 players mid the entire round. So maybe if Heroic go for a delayed mid take, that could be an option. Freiburg is sneaking through the cracks here, but I think ENCE are aware of this. With 20 seconds left, you can see X7 should have spotted him there. Freiburg moving in towards the B site, but he has been spotted, and he will be removed.
9-0 for ENCE Esports, and as you said, X7 was jumping around, looked at the area just for a moment, and knew exactly what he had to do. Heroic tried so hard, but again, they're not succeeding. And the only thing that he can really do now is either force, which would be a bit stupid to say the least, or just go on a pistol armor. Try to do it next round with Muz on the AWP. But so far, him and the rest of the team haven't really made that impact. On ENCE, it is mainly aerial together with X7 just doing everything they need to do, but they're just going for mid every round. And they're pushing through, and X7 gets the 1v1s in B as well. And there's nothing Heroic knows what they can do against it. Maybe they should pre-nade, maybe they should just play it slow, as you said. Maybe just go for a normal execute towards the B side. Not try some silly split, which doesn't work because they can't get mid control.
Yeah, I mean, mid is obviously an important area of the map, and it's kind of awkward if you've been practicing playing around that mid control, and then you get into the real game and you don't get the mid control. That can make things really awkward. Sometimes you need something to fall back on, and we've not seen that enough from Heroic here. Into this round, S-Attack had a bit of extra cash, and with that maximum loss bonus, he should be fine to buy into the next round. So invest into an AK, as Asilian looks for a bit of mid control, and this time ENCE are playing it a little more passively.
It seems to be like Heroic wants to go for the A-split once again. They do have a decent setup, they don't have the smokes though, and Elu is just standing by with the AWP looking to connect her as well, but the flashbang comes in. And so he will fall to Mirage with 1 dig, but Sergey still standing here in sandwich. He played there before, he got 3 frags that time. Now it's only 1. It's Heroic actually walking away with it, but also losing the players going through connector. And it's back to a 3-on-3, the bomb still has to go towards the side. They're falling back. They want to take their time, try to make it a bit more doable for themselves, but as Ariel chimes in, it will be yet another frag, and only Muddy will stand. He will get 1, but he will fall as well. 10-0 for ENCE Esports, and they're just dominating Heroic right now.
I don't want to jinx it.
Oh.
But at what point do you start to think about the 16-0?
Yeah, and now we'll see. Like, if they would be on an eco right now, Heroic, they would still win.
Yeah.
It's just a caster curse.
It's the curse.
It pops into your mind, you say it, it's like, oh no, everything goes south. Chat hate us as well. HLTV mainly, because you can already imagine the forum post coming up. So now we'll see another round. Heroic has bought, and Mertz will have that AWP, but he isn't playing aggressively. That might be something Heroic will need. But, as you said before, also, slowing down might be the key, as ENCE does sometimes like to push. So far though, they've only taken a bit of mid control, but don't really commit too deep. This is mainly just a bit of covering each other.
Yeah, I like this decision from Heroic. After you've lost so many rounds, time to slow things down. There's a chance that ENCE get a bit too overconfident at this point and take some unnecessary aggression, so I like the default, and now Heroic look to take a different approach in towards mid. They try and push through underpass, but there are still 3 players here, Ariel being one of them, gets the first kill, but the trade is there. Alu looking for one of his own, he makes noise, but he still gets the kill. Beautifully done by Alu, and that is the bomb gone.
But they leave the A side open and 2 players are at ramp, but they might face the wrath of Sergey as Alexi might go a bit aggressive. Muddy will almost choke it out, but Alu's right there to get the refrag. It is a 2-on-2, the bomb is at connector however, and that might actually grind the gears of Heroic as they're trying to get back. But Alu's just taking yet another angle, hoping to get another frag, as he already has 2 this round, and Mertz is standing by the AWP. Sees the legs of Alu, you would say, but doesn't pull the trigger. Now Alu actually has the upper hand, and only Freiburg remains with low HP. Molly EU, 16 seconds left. He can just stay there. Maybe?
Ooh, this is close. I think friberg might just have time. 7 seconds, he should get the bomb down. It was a good effort from Alu. And does he know that friberg is low? Alu pushing forwards, friberg holding, but it's Alu to upgrade to the AK and make sure that ENCE keep their round win streak going. Turns out even ENCE can beat the Jinx. They beat the caster's curse.
Easy for ENCE. I was sweating though. Heroic made it very close. I was almost scared that friberg would have lost that one, but he also threw a molly towards the position of Alu. That meant that he couldn't peek out, and friberg had a relatively safe approach towards the A side. Now it is 11-0. Heroic will do yet another tactical pause, and hope that after this round, maybe they'll have a 1 on the board.
Yeah, I think the way I would sum up this game is that it looks like Heroic on their T side are just assuming that they can get mid control. It looks like they've practiced kind of assuming they can get mid control in most of these rounds. And as soon as that goes against them, again, they just don't have a plan B. You know, if ENCE are putting 3 players towards mid, you have to have something else prepared. Maybe just go for that B push. If there's only one man there, you can try and just get an even trade to the site, get that bomb planted. That could be an option, but Heroic have just been continuously shut down, a little too slow to adapt to the way that ENCE are playing. And right now, the Finns are looking for the easy wins.
Ooh, nice rhyme right there. Something I'm also lacking is Heroic not just running out A for a reason. Like, sometimes playing slow works, sometimes in the middle it works, but they haven't really tried to rush. And you see ENCE almost always setting up a bit slow. Then they're doubting, will we go to mid, will we stay to A? They just throw a smoke and then they just delay for a little bit. And Heroic could actually use that to their advantage, but so far they haven't really tried. And now they will fake towards the B side, but will fall back and try to group for A once again. Still a lot of utility left for ENCE, and they could stop a push just whenever they feel like it.
Yeah, Heroic were going a little bit quicker at the start of the game, but ever since they haven't won a round, they've really slowed it down. And Aerial looking confident. He's got 15 kills and he'll make it 16. Easy frag on towards friberg, who just wasn't expecting that position. And another man advantage for ENCE leads to Heroic going for an A play.
Alu will be smoked up, but will throw a nade as well. Almost gets a good tackle to Aztak, who's already gone low. It's a 5-on-4. The bomb will go down most likely, but the molly will also chime in. This Sicilian being sprayed down by Aerial, and this just goes south time and time again. Frags come in for Heroic, however, they still have a fighting chance, but as they fall one by one, it is ENCE getting the 12th round on the board. And somehow, they just pull through every time.
And again, it's Aerial actually leading the way on the frag count. He's another one of the players of ENCE that can definitely step up. Maybe sometimes we talk a bit too much about Sergey and then Alu, because the rest of this ENCE team are also really skilled. And you can see Heroic not getting the bomb plant, don't even get a buy into this round. This could have been an option for them to go for a fast play. With only the pistols, you haven't got too much to lose. You can play a bit more free, but they decide to go for a bit of a delayed take towards mid, where Aerial looks to stop them.
2 flashbangs to rule the world USA for Heroic, but friberg and Sicilian actually get those frags. Problem is they disregard connector, as there are now 2 frags coming out for ENCE, but it might go too aggressive. It's Alu stuck here in connector. But he has Sergey to help him out. Sergey will get his 2nd of the round. Now X7 also chimes in, gets the last 2, you would say. And the 13th round for ENCE Esports is a fact. And Heroic, as you said, could have gone more aggressive. And you also said just before, like, Sergey's the star player, the rest also steps up right now, but I looked at the ratings, and they're pretty similar for all the players over the last 3 months. And Sergey is just the man that always steps up when he needs to. But as you can see right now, if ENCE is feeling it, everyone can just frag how hard they want.
Definitely. I think if you'd have just watched this tournament, you'd think Sergey is that sort of superstar player, because he's been playing really well. He's got a 1.35 rating over this tournament so far, so that's obviously great. But yeah, overall in the last 3 months, much more spread out, and there's no real weak link in terms of the fragging numbers on the ENCE side of things, which is definitely a positive. As we head into round number 14, the mid control seems to have finally been found for Heroic without any casualties. This is what they were hoping for. Now let's see if they can use this mid control to actually take a site.
But are they falling into a trap? Alu will be mollied up, but will stay close to this corner. As Alexi can actually jump into ladder to help him out as well. Aztec is moving in. Will he expect Alexi to be here? No, he won't. That's the first frag for ENCE already. Mollies are flying in. Actually, good damage coming on towards Heroic, and Mertz will almost fall. Just like Asilian just got barbecued. It is a 5-on-3. Mertz is trying to get up right here. That might actually put him into trouble. As Alexi is now in the ladder room, will actually move in. Did he not hear or see Mertz? Well, now he will. There's only 2 players left remaining for Heroic. They got mid control, but couldn't make it work, as ENCE had a very, very good plan and a very, very good read as well.
Alexi B will hear those mollies, knows there's a man there, but Modi gets his gun out in the nick of time. Another kill found. Modi entering the site, but Aerial is there to stop the push, and he makes it a second kill on the hold. Again, solid job from Aerial, always there when he is needed on this map. And again, you look at the frag numbers, everyone is doing their bit on ENCE. No one really standing out for Heroic. I don't blame Mertz too much because he didn't get that AWP too often at the early stages. But whenever you've got all of your players down at sort of 6 or 7 kills for the half, that is just not going to be good enough. And here we go. Heroic finally going to up the pace towards B.
But Mollies will also fly out. X7 is standing by, but he has no support from the get-go. Alexi is coming in, but a nade will chime in as well. A lot of damage onto Heroic. The kills need to come out, and they come in favor of Heroic first. It is a 2-for-2 trade, but damage has been dealt as Alu tries to get something back. But the bomb will now be planted. Heroic finally in a better position for a change. The Sicilian is now also upgrading towards an M4.
3v3 retake. Heroic looking for their first round, but Mertz ends up falling. Freiburg having to hold alongside Asilian. Freiburg spots the headshot, and it's up to Aerial to try and secure this. Gets the first, but there's the trade. It's not going to be quite as embarrassing of a half for Heroic, but it's still only 1 round on their own map pick. It's just not good enough.
No, this retake as well from ENCE was a bit more chaotic than we've seen before. Their retakes have been absolutely insane, but now they just picked 1-for-1, but also hoped that Heroic might be a little bit crazy, but they had good positions. They followed it out well, except for Mertz maybe, dying at bench. But still, it's 1 round. At least something to save your bacon for now, but not something to be very proud of, I would say.
Yeah, they were definitely wanting more than that here on Mirage. Again, it's your own map pick. You've got to do a little bit more than that. And we'll see if they can maybe up their game in the second half. But like I was saying, there's not really a map that Heroic are big favorites on. That was always going to be the problem for them. There was no clear pick that they could take. They try and go for Mirage, maybe because in that previous series, just 10 days ago at DreamHack Winter, they played different maps and they still got beaten. So they try and switch it up, and it still doesn't seem to be going their way.
No, statistic-wise, Mirage for both teams equal, 64%, but you said prior to this game, ENCE has a 6-map winning streak on Mirage. And Heroic should know that. They should know this is not the map to play in, but still they picked it and said, well, we can win it, but they can't. So far it's 14-1, and you can come back whatever you want, you can try so hard. But how? How are they going to come back?
You can try so hard, but you can only get so far. Unless they win the pistol round, that's when maybe they just get rolling. But they literally need to have a flawless second half if they want the win in regulation. They can't drop a single round. It's just so far to come back from. This is one of those awkward positions where it's kind of like, what do we even talk about? Heroic have just kind of been wrecked, like, individually. It's unfortunate, but it's not gone their way. Sometimes the trades have not even looked there for Heroic, which is generally what they rely on. They may not have all the firepower, but normally they at least play as a team, and that's been a little bit off here on Mirage. But let's see if their CT side can improve their game. Freiburg gets aggressive at B, but Modi has to solo hold A.
Nades fly out as Heroic was expecting a B split, but will now try to react to the pressure from ENCE. Bomb will be planted, however, and there's nobody there to stop it, as there are 5 players in CT right now for Heroic. And the time starts ticking. 2 flashbangs for Aztec, a defuse kit as well, but Alexi with the opener with the P250 onto Muddy. And the rest of the team will come in, but Sergey from Belz can also get one for himself. And somehow ENCE is already doing the work on the T side as well, and they're so consistent. And Heroic is so dying again. It's a 1-on-5 for Aztec, gets 1 frag, but the knives are coming in. Oh no, it's Sergey making it 15-1, and ENCE is just having a laugh right now.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's never good. I mean, what is there to say at this point? Heroic are going to force up, but this first map seems to be all but over. ENCE know that it's going to be a force buy, so they decide to go for quite a few rifles. I guess Heroic should take some sort of gamble here, just try and push something, try and find an early fight to go your way, but ENCE should be securing it right here, right now. Again, it is a best of 3, but heading into Overpass, the pick of ENCE, Heroic's chances will be much, much slimmer. As ENCE decide to play it slow, they know they're against pistols, so they will make sure they don't take any unnecessary fights.
C-Stat standing by on close range, but Muddy has been spotted out, will be dinked and killed by Ariel. And that's already the opener. Ariel is just too strong this map, 23 kills already, as it's also X7 coming in together with Alu. Only 2 players remain for Heroic. They have done some damage though. It's ENCE also struggling a little bit. They have the flank ready, the bomb has been planted, there's no utility left, and also no lives onto Freiburg. Only Aztec with that deagle trying to come in, but Alu is just standing by. 16-1 for ENCE. And what can you say? Just like the chat, easy for ENCE. There's nothing else you can say right now.
I can almost see Twitch chat right now.
Oh yeah, Twitter, HLTV, Twitch chat. We're happy there's no analyst desk segment.
Oh yeah, I don't know what the desk would say about that. Again, like the one upside that Heroic normally have is that their team play is actually pretty good. Sometimes I think they struggle on the individual side of things, and that clearly came through here. Whenever you lose so convincingly, your individuals probably haven't showed up. That's exactly what happened for Heroic, and they end up taking a big loss.
Yeah, Heroic took a hefty beating, but can they come back on Overpass? We will see that after the break to see if they are strong, as we hope they are.